Hey everyone, today we're going to do camshafts, and by a small margin we're putting them in the 1AR-FE right in this car. So let's get to it. Alright, and before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. First, I know the audio in this video is not going to be as good. I'm recording it on my Bluetooth headset because my normal microphone, the battery door exploded, and the company won't sell me a battery door. I have to send the whole unit in for a warranty repair. Technically it's free, but the shipping ends up costing more than the battery door should have, so whatever. Next video, I will have better audio again. The other thing is, so I put that poll up. Of course, there was a lot of people that asked about boost. Not surprised there, but check this out. I was cleaning my shop, and literally, I ran across this thing that I had forgotten I had bought. This is an M62 off of a Cobalt. And the really nice thing about that, so other than it'll do 350 to the ground, maybe 400 if we overspin just a little bit. But the other really nice thing about this is it comes with this manifold that has the really nice Laminova cores in it. I don't have it open right now, so I can't really show you, but the Laminova cores are super awesome. So it comes with a nice intercooler. It's got a nice pump and everything. This is just a nice, cheap setup. And the port spacing, so we're going to need an adapter, but the port spacing is pretty close to ideal as is. So yeah, it'll just fit on there nicely without too much work. And with that said, I'm guessing that these are going to become unavailable on eBay now. So get yours now. And here we've got what we're going to be installing today. So we've got our intake and our exhaust camshaft. And because these are going to have a higher operating RPM, we're going to want to be able to not spit rockers out of the valve train. So we're going to increase the spring pressure. And also with this is a titanium retainer. It's going to drop the weight of our valve system and allow us to achieve a higher RPM without float. Then these two pieces here, this is a shim for the top of the valve stem to make it a tiny bit taller. This is just a Toyota OEM part. And then this is a shim for bottom of the hydraulic lash adjuster, so we can make up for the smaller base circle. Ideally, we would just have completely fresh, billet cams, but this is much more affordable on a one-off basis. And I would like to make these a stocked component for sale on the store. If there's enough of you guys interested, I can either get some reground ones made, or for a little bit more money, I can get some billet ones made. So it just depends on what exactly you guys are looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the whole drivetrain out of the car. I think you could probably do this in the car, but last time I did this, I didn't have the replacement clutch parts, and I have them now, so I'm going to want to replace the clutch at the same time. So it's easier just to drop the motor, then this stuff goes in a lot easier, and I can do my other things that I want to do. All right, let's get to it.
let's talk about this before we got to do it. So the camshafts are lined up right here and here. So to get to them, we got to take the valve cover off, which means we got to take the stuff off of the top of the valve cover. We got to take the timing cover off. And to take the timing cover off, we're going to take the motor mount off and the front pulley. To take the front pulley off, we're going to have to take the accessory belt off. And then once we get the timing cover off, which conveniently, unlike the 2GR, we don't actually have to remove the oil pan. So that's at least nice. We can remove the timing cover, and then there's a camshaft carrier. It'll become more obvious in a second here. But we got to take that off, and then we can go in, replace all the valve hardware, so everything except the valves themselves. And then we put the new cams in the cam carrier with the VVTi stuff on it. We reinstall it, seal everything as it goes in. Conveniently, we're not going to have to take the intake or the exhaust manifold off. It's really not going to get in our way. And because of the way the oil pan is, we don't even have to drain the oil. Though if for some reason I drop anything in it, then I will. So, no point delaying it. Let's get to it. And they'll often need a gentle tap to get the retainers out. So I do that so that they don't go flying into the oil pan. And it's not the end of the world. I can get them out of the oil pan, but rather not have to. Right. Couple gentle taps. You see the one fly out there? That's what we were hoping for. No, I see it. Having a couple different size magnets can be pretty handy for this job. And then the other one usually does stay in there. There you go. Take it over the magnet. Then this comes out. So then on this, I normally wouldn't do this over the motor, but I'm trying to show you guys. So just loosen it up. I'm going to get this guy out of here and then put the next one in. So here's a spring. Obviously we can't just install it like that. So We're going to put it in the clamp. It might be in place. I'm going to have to take this off to check. So we're just going to pray that this thing doesn't go into low Earth orbit. Yeah, it's fully seated. So these are tricky because you see they're effectively designed to hold a longer spring. That way you don't end up damaging the spring. But I've never actually installed these on a head like this. Sorry, I've never actually installed these on a motor like this. And tell you what, it's a heck of a lot trickier to put these on. Let me give this thing a tap test. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, I'm going to put some music on for myself and going to back out the camera, and we're just going to time lapse the rest of this because I got to do this 14 more times. Now let's take care of these camshafts. It's a bit easier to remove the VVTi solenoids with them still in the carrier. Just that way they're not rolling around as much. Alright, and that's it for this part, so let's get back to the motor. Alright, and this is an interference engine, so before we just put the cams back on, we kind of have to time the motor a little bit. We don't have to get it exact, but we got to get it close. So first is crank goes 40 degrees before top dead center. So, and there's a key right here, so about 40 degrees this way. Again, this is just rough timing. The engine doesn't run ridiculously close interference because it's got the VVTi system, so we just need to be in the right ballpark. And this is just a dry fit. That's this one right here. So there's a line that goes all the way to the front. That's not the timing mark. The one that's just light, that's the timing mark. So we want that roughly, this is 32 degrees, so up here. And this one here, 7 degrees. Okay, so that's our rough timing.
We're going to keep them right there. Put some RTV on the block. Okay, so red mark goes down here to this dot right here. This one goes to this, not the deep one, but the shallow one. The shallow mark, same thing here. So if I can put all the tensioners without anything slipping, the motor is now in time. Alright, I didn't catch when, but it slipped time, so let's fix it. Alright, let's slowly take it through a couple of revolutions to make sure we don't have any interference. We're still missing a guide up here, but that's not going to matter. I mean, we will put it on. Oh, all right. So it's about a day and a half after I started. I still have to put coolant in it. I still have to hook up the suspension, the axles. I think that might be it. But it's at a point where I can actually start it. And yes, honestly, it's been a bit stressful thinking about, I'm putting all this back together, and I haven't even test started the engine. So I'm really, with the exhaust. I got to put the exhaust on too, but we'll do that after. So yeah, let's see if it starts. All right, well, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Yeah. Not that you guys will notice, but I'm going to go take a break, and then I'm going to work on finishing it up. See you guys in literally 1 second. Yeah, so when I started wrenching on this thing about a day and a half ago, it started snowing. It hasn't really quit snowing since, so we've got about 4 inches of this thick, slushy stuff. So that means even if I button this stuff up, which, I mean, yeah, there's 30 minutes, maybe an hour's worth of stuff left to do at most. Even if I do it, I can't drive the car right now. So I'm going to button it up off video. I'm going to focus on getting this video out to you guys right now instead. Yeah, so where do we go from here? Well, obviously I have to do a bit of tuning. I was checking the faults, and whenever it tries to go down to its 650 RPM idle, it throws a fault code for random multiple misfire and also misfire on all cylinders. So I think 280 degrees of cam with the VVTi settings that it's got, it's just not quite happy, which, yeah, that's fine. It's a big cam. So I'm going to do that. That shouldn't be a big deal. And then I hope to get a driving as well as a dyno video out. I'm not quite sure when, but let's say within 2 weeks. The other thing I want to talk about is, check this out right here. So I finally heard back from the manufacturer. That is the pre-production sample for the 2GR Spyder, the Widowmaker. So that'll go over there. Widowmaker project's sitting over there. And I hope to get that to you guys next weekend, which is why the dyno video for this might get delayed a little bit. Yeah, so where do we go from here? Well, honestly, the more power we talk about, the more you guys are out there buying parts. So despite the fact that I felt it was a perfectly balanced car before, I do like selling parts. So I don't know exactly where this is going to go, if this is going to go into production or anything, but this guy here, this is an M62 off of a supercharged Cobalt. This should be able to get this thing to somewhere 300, 350-ish to the ground, which frankly that'll be about as high as I want to go with the stock ECU. We're already, if you look at the load numbers that this thing's giving us already, we're already into like the 170% or so. And there's only so much that ECU can do. So beyond that, it's just going to have to go aftermarket ECU unless I figure something big out. But yeah, if there's enough interest in this, then maybe I'll make a custom manifold for it and make all the parts you need to bolt it on. So we'll see. Either way, the tune that this will result and the tune that this will result just for the NA with the cams, that will be available on the site. And let's see. Yeah, I think it's about all I got. So how about I let you guys go with a bit of the song "My People."